Hey everybody, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, all you folks out there on YouTube land. Welcome to the Pro Wrestling Power Podcast with Wildcat Parsons, giving you a review of the horror show at Extreme Rules. That's right, we have a WWE pay-per-view, and there's a lot to talk about. Oh my goodness, a lot to talk about. Did Vince Russo make an appearance in the writing room? Maybe. We'll discuss later. Anyway, let's jump right into it, which is what they did. The opening match is a tables match for the WWE SmackDown Tag Titles between the New Day and Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura. And it starts with all four fighting in the ring. There's a lot of spots where people are tossed into the plexiglass. It's kind of the theme of the night. It's going to happen at least 15, 20, 30, a billion more times. It just happens a lot. It's almost like a hockey match up in there. Almost like a hockey game up in there. Hockey match. I don't know, sometimes they kind of feel, they kind of have the feel for it. Lots of fighting in hockey. There's a lot of good big moments, false finishes, and what else do you expect from these four? It's great in-ring work by all four participants. They kept calling Kofi ornery, and I guess that's probably the perfect word to describe, because he fought angry, which was great. The ending even involved a powerbomb through not one, but two tables. And we have new champs. I didn't think they pulled the trigger on this, but they did, and I'm very happy about it. Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura. Yes, they're your new SmackDown Tag Team Champions. Honestly though, what else can you ask for to open a show? Great workers, big spots, good storytelling, and Cesaro and Nakamura with the belt actually it can help to end a very stale, can't read my own writing sometimes, a very stale SmackDown Tag Team division. It's been the New Day and the Usos, and then the New Day or the Usos beat whoever challenges them for the belts for so long. It's nice to have some fresh blood at the top. We get the next match, which is Bayley and Nikki Cross for the SmackDown Women's Championship. And there's a random promo beforehand, kind of gives away the finish. They're like, it's Asuka, Kyrie, Alexa Bliss, and Nikki, and they're like, oh, we'll still be your friend if you lose. Like, okay, this was pointless, but it kind of gave away the ending. It was a fun match though. It was physical. There's a lot of big spots. I like the sneaky, gutsy Nikki Cross that they had in their match. Like, she pulled some crap sneaking under the ring, and I like it. It's a good way for her character to go if she's not going to be the crazy woman anymore. I don't like the whole confidence thing they had to do beforehand with the pep talk from the friends, but that's the rant for another time. But this is a Nikki character I can get behind, and she really hasn't done a whole lot since she came to the main roster. Insert anybody's name in there, and that's also accurate for a lot of different people, but it's neither here nor there. Of course, we got Sasha interference. Bayley retains. This felt and looked and was completely a placeholder feud. We know we're going to get Sasha Bayley eventually down the road. How we're going to get there, we don't know. But this elevated Nikki Cross to where she looks like a main event performer, and at least it served that purpose. Like, I can look at it and say that I was entertained, and they had to cheat to beat her, so it made her look strong in the end. So, good job with a placeholder feud. If you have to do it, I guess that's how you do it. And good to see you get a couple of things right tonight. Then we get a really spooky Firefly Funhouse segment. It was funny. There were good spots. It was just you turn Bray Wyatt loose with a horror show and a swamp fight. It's going to be good. Man's ruthlessly talented and entertaining, so watch it. You won't regret it. We get Apollo Crews next versus MVP. This is what's advertised. This is what they built toward. And Apollo isn't cleared to compete. They give a weird kayfabe excuse saying he's still injured from Bobby Lashley beating him up a month ago, even though he's fought since then. MVP declares himself the winner by forfeit. Okay. The rumor here is they had to do it because Apollo has COVID, and if that's the truth, sir, speedy recovery. I mean, couldn't we have at least gotten a match here? I mean, Ricochet would have been great against MVP in this spot. You could have done just not even have it for the belt, just have a match here. I don't know. And then he's like, well, I guess I'm champion by forfeit, and Bobby Lashley's agreeing. I mean, sure, let's just have people declare themselves champion and, figure that, get their own results for matches. Oh, that's not the only time it happens tonight. Or non-matches in this case, actually. But, yeah, anyway, get well soon, Apollo. It goes into Seth Rollins versus Rey Mysterio. This is the eye for an eye match. And, honestly, except for the finish, it was actually really, really good. You win by popping somebody's eyeball out, and, Seth walks in with a pair of pliers. So apparently he's raring to go and get this done. Rey attacks him. I mean, there's so many weapon spots. It was actually an entertaining match. There was some fantastic storytelling. It was kind of an older school, more psychological match with, you not knowing what was going to be the bump to end it. Because they teased a whole lot of spots. I mean, really, it was a lot of really good storytelling. The campiness at the end, the cheesiness of the ending kind of ruined it for a lot of people. And I wasn't really a fan of it. I wasn't a huge fan of the idea anyway. Hey, you gotta win by popping somebody's eye out. Okay. How do we storytell from down the road? I mean, is Rey gonna wrestle from now on with an eye patch? How are we gonna explain this away? Because it's hard to recover from an eyeball being poked out. I mean, I think a first blood match would have been fine here, but hey, we're telling creepy cult stories. It's a horror show. And, get to the end, Rey gets popped into the corner of the ring steps, and of course his eye you get a small shot of him holding an eye still in his mask. Obviously fake, a bit cheesy. It looked very 80s horror movie, and all the cheese. But then Rollins, he throws up and he acts disgusted at what he's done, and I don't really get that response from him, especially if he's the big evil cult leader and we're trying to sell him as that. So that was a little off, but Vince loves people throwing up and poop jokes and stuff like that, so I guess that was making Vince happy. It was a lot of fun. The ending was a little silly, but a lot of people are crapping on this match. I can't. It was really good work between two guys that had a physical match. There was a lot, like I said, a lot of weapons. They told a good story, and the ending was cheesy. And now we get Sasha Banks versus Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. For 90% of the match, this was brilliant. These are two of the best women's wrestlers in the world. It was very physical, it was very technical, it was very athletic. There were a lot of risky spots they took, a lot of top rope spots. There's a second rope code breaker that Asuka hit Sasha with. There's one botch. Sasha slipped on the ropes, but they recovered from it real quickly. Then there's a spot in the match where Sasha taps out to the Asuka lock. Of course, Bayley distracts the ref, so the ref didn't see it. And then the rest is like Russo-rific overbooked madness. Because, if we're going to have a horror show, we got to have Vince Russo writing something. It appears, it wasn't Judy Bagwell on a pole match bad, but it was... Why? Just why? The ref somehow gets hit with Asuka's green mist. Bayley hits Asuka with the belt. Then she steals the ref's shirt, and Bayley counts 3 and declares Sasha the winner. And there's nobody ringside. There's no officials. There's nobody that's just like, oh yeah, no, that's garbage. That can't happen. And they're just going with it, with Bayley and Sasha having the belt. As far as a billion-dollar corporation, it makes no sense. Seems like something that happened at an outlaw indie mud show. Just to steal a phrase there, where nobody's in charge. A good heel move, I'll give it that. But as far as you being part of a big company where we know that there's people in charge and there's set rules, it just from a storytelling standpoint, it makes no sense. Yeah, I guess. And the story behind it is that Asuka was supposed to win. Vince got cold feet because the ratings aren't what he wants them to be. So we're going to get this match and the proper ending on Raw tonight. So who knows? We'll find out. Just if you can't do a match with the right finish, and you got to come up with something this convoluted and crazy. Wow. I guess people are talking about it. There's a lot of talk about it on Twitter, so maybe you accomplished your goal, but for me, it was just weird. And it kind of stuck out, and it left a weird moment, and it actually kind of storytelling wise, it didn't mesh with the rest of the pay-per-view. And because of the next match that happens. We do get a follow-up on Rey Mysterio. The Charlie Caruso standing outside of the trainer's room. She's like, the trainers have said that Rey Mysterio is going on in the hospital. I'm like, yeah, eyeball popped out. That ain't something the trainer is going to be able to take care of. They basically give you band-aids and a little massage and tape you up before and after a match. Why they... Hey man, this is a problem.
Tis but a scratch.
The trainer's gonna pass out as soon as you move that hand. Come on. But here's where the finish to the Asuka Sasha match makes no sense. Because we have Drew McIntyre versus Dolph Ziggler. Dolph gets to pick the stipulation for the match, and he's like, oh, I got one over on you, Drew. It's Extreme Rules, but only for me. I'm like, okay, this is interesting storytelling. I like it. Drew's the really strong champion. Dolph's trying to get every advantage that he can. And it was really great storytelling. I love the gimmick that made Dolph seem like a legit threat for Drew's belt. And we got a very, very, very physical match, which seems to be Drew's MO. And there were moments in it where Drew looked conflicted, like he's about to put Dolph through a table or hit him with something, and he can't because that's how he'll lose. And Dolph's getting frustrated, and he's like, why won't you just die? Like, that's how frustrated he gets at one point. And of course, Drew kips up and hits Dolph with one Claymore, and it's over. A little Roman Reigns booked at that moment. You know, Drew's starting to look like this super strong guy that, you know, can't get beat or defeated, or Superman booking, if you will. And I wonder how long that's going to last before fans turn on him. So, you know, part of the fun of a babyface champ is they can't just look super dominant all the time. They have to have those moments for the babyface comeback, you know, for proper storytelling. Is how this business works. I'm surprised you guys are making billions hand over fist and forget simple details though. But besides that critique, another thing, where does Dolph go from here? He had every advantage. He's hitting him with chairs and tables and kendo sticks and everything, and he still can't win with every advantage. And the deck stacked firmly against Drew. He beat him down for the entirety of the match and loses the one Claymore kick. I'm not sure how you recover from that. Like, where does Dolph go from here? That's my one concern about the gimmick. Because Dolph is very talented in the ring. But you see what I'm saying about how the finish to Bayley declaring Sasha the winner, and Drew being able to lose if he uses a weapon. Like, hey, there's somebody that's going to enforce the rules in the Drew match, but nobody was there to enforce the rule in the other one, and it's not a consistent story match per match, and that just messed with my head a little bit. Then we get the feature of the night, the main event, if you will, the cinematic masterpiece. For some, it's kind of 50-50 what I've seen about the responses to this match. So it's kind of, you either like it or you love it. And Bray versus Braun Strowman in a swamp fight. Look, I'm not going to go very deep into this one and let you guys watch it for yourself. But it was, if you like 80s and 70s and 80s horror movies, you're going to really like this, because it was basically Bray messing with Braun's head. It was a non-title matchup. There's a lot of good moments. Just lots of old school horror movie effects. It was I guess the best way to put it, it was a very ambitious approach to a cinematic fight. And you could tell there's a lot of, like, Rob Zombie influence, the horror movies he's done. Like, you can tell that they just kind of turned Bray loose with it and were like, okay, what do you want this to look like? And he went with it. So I thought it was a pretty good finish. I enjoyed it. We even got Alexa Bliss involved. So that was kind of fun. It was a cool little moment. Somebody caught fire. So please watch it. Let me know what you think down in the comments, because that one's very, very hit or miss. Overall, pretty solid pay-per-view. One of the better ones they've done in recent months. I love the New Day Cesaro Nakamura match. That was probably overall the best actual match of the night. Rollins and Mysterio was good. Sasha Asuka should have been the best women's match that we've seen this year, and it was up until they decided to bench Russo up the finish. I have no idea why they decided to do that, except for they got cold feet about not having something to do with Asuka and Sasha on Monday night. So who knows? But like I said, overall, pretty good pay-per-view. You should definitely, if you haven't watched it yet, go give it a watch. Absolutely go watch that swamp fight though, because we're going to get this feud later down the road, and it's going to be for the belt, and a new challenger has emerged. Anyway, please like, subscribe.
The Fiend is power. The Fiend remembers. Let me in.